So who is in control? Can they really do that? That's a question I hear all the time. Can they really ask for us for ID? Well, it comes down to common law versus civil law. Can they really ask me to do this? Can they really do that? Well, sometimes they have to ask. They are, generally speaking, whether it's a corporation, a government agency, or an officer of some type, they have legislation that defines what they can and cannot do and what they must do. And in some cases, they are under a legislative demand to do something. Now, for instance, if you go in to open up a bank account, they are ordered by the legislation to ask for a social insurance number. But you can say no. And in that particular case, you can absolutely say no. So they may have an order to ask, but that does not mean you have an order to tell. There's a big difference. They're under a command, you're not. All they have to be able to do is say, well, we were told to ask, we did ask, and we got told no. So you can almost always say no. And again, unless you are operating under a civil law license or permit, where you have agreed to be under their orders, then you can say no. If you haven't agreed to all of the legislation associated with something, you've preserved your right to say no, then you can absolutely do that. If you have agreed to a license or a permit, your right to say no is extremely limited and possibly not there. So check out the downloads there. And again, the bottom line is common law versus